So today we have with us Paul Perrier, co-founder and CEO of what I may call as the hottest startup in the country today, Fundkiss. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hi, Sandeep. I'm good, and you?
Doing very good. Doing very good. So, Paul, you've had a very interesting journey. I think from what I'm aware, Fundkiss is like a little over a year-old startup, and it was one of the first organizations to be incubated by the leading incubator. Right, you were the first organization in Mauritius to receive the regulatory sandbox license, and the journey seems very smooth. You're in the crowdlending field, and the leader, I would say, in the last 1 year in the area. And when I met you last, you mentioned that you've already funded 70 organizations. I don't know if the number has increased from the last time we met to today.
Yeah, we are putting online our 83rd project this afternoon. So
Wow, excellent.
things are moving in the right.
Definitely. So if I look at your journey, it seems like the entrepreneur's journey has been too smooth, what it usually is not. So it seems like you decided to go to Bagatelle Mall, which is one of the popular malls in Mauritius, and as soon as you took your car out, the traffic lights decided that we have to be green. The traffic made way for you, and from the outside it looks that everything happened in a sequence so perfectly. But let's hear it from you, whether the back end, the journey has been as easy as it looks from the outside.
Yes, thanks. So if there are two words that can summarize Fundkiss' journey so far, there would be collaboration first, and second, timing. Collaboration because as you mentioned, from the very beginning, we made this choice to collaborate with the ecosystem. Once when we had the idea of launching Fundkiss, we started to discuss about Fundkiss back in 2016. The first incubator in Mauritius was launched, and it was Turbine. So we were able to go there to pitch our idea, which got validated through the test drive competition. Then we said, okay, we have an idea, which on paper is nice, but there is no regulatory framework for us. What do? We approached the FSC, Bank of Mauritius, EDB, Ministry of Finance, and they told us that in the budget speech in 2017, the government would come up with the RSL, the Regulatory Sandbox License. And this RSL was the game changer because it would allow us to operate. So that was the second thing which was very important. Then once we were the first to apply and to operate under the RSL in Mauritius, then once we got our RSL, we rushed to build our platform, which was an MVP, and which we still operating on this platform. We financed 2 small projects to show the proof of concept. And with a team of co-founders, a business model. So with a team of co-founders, a business model which is attractive on paper, 2 small projects finance, a license. We raised a seed. We did a seed funding with business angels. Which allowed us co-founders to shift as from 2019 full-time on our project and give it all the boost, focus, and energy to be able to progress in this journey. And at the same time, early 2019, we had the Mauritius Africa FinTech Hub, which was launched in Mauritius. We became a member of the African Crowdfunding Association, and the next steps for us is to, by the end of the year, is to transition under the peer-to-peer lending rules, which has just been gazetted by the FSC. We are also working on a new platform. So many exciting things happening, and we hope that in the course of October we will reach our 100th project finance on the platform. Yes,
excellent. Yes, please go on.
No, and COVID actually was also kind of it's been very difficult for the country as a whole. Businesses have been impacted big time, but it has also allowed us to show the power of our solution, because we are online. The onboarding is simple. The financing is very fast. So we have been able to through this period to do a lot of things to show to the local ecosystem what are the advantages of crowdlending and of Fundkiss. And one of the results of this was that crowdlending has been identified during the last budget in June 2020 as a new mechanism to boost SME financing. So this was a big also validation of all the work we had been doing over the last 12 months.
Definitely. I mean, your journey has been fantastic, and there's a bigger purpose, right, which is fueling the growth of small and medium enterprises, including micro enterprises. I see you're also assisting micro enterprises, which may be one-person companies, to get that credit finance available for them. And it is the people who are believing in these concepts, right, and investing or lending to these smaller organizations. Right now, if we see SMEs, they are the heart and blood of any country's economy, because these are the future large corporations, and
Yes.
These are the organizations that need that initial support. They may not have the collateral, but they need that financial support. So if I look at the selection of the business idea, you've hit the nail on its head in terms of selecting this as the right kind of opportunity. What led you to conceptualize this business idea? Did you see a demand in the market? Did you see a gap that existed? And how did you select on crowd lending as your subject or as your prime idea for your startup?
So I come from a financial background. I started my professional journey at PwC in Mauritius in the deals department, corporate finance. So I was exposed to many big deals that occurred between 2010 and 2013. So big groups always have many options to finance their growth, their development. They have banks, obviously. They have the stock exchange. They have the bond market now in Mauritius, which is becoming very popular, and they also have the shareholders behind them. But for SMEs, for micro and small SMEs, it has always been very difficult. And every year you listen in the newspapers or on radio or in the different media that SMEs complain about the difficulty, the challenges they have to access finance. And one of the challenges is because we are not able to provide a collateral to get the loan. So one of the specificities of our model is that we do unsecured lending. So we don't ask any guarantee or asset collateral from the borrowers. And then we need also to, when we look at this market of SMEs in Mauritius, they are at the core of wealth creation. The GDP, they contribute a lot to the GDP creation, employment creation, and there was based on the statistics in 2018, MSMEs, so micro, small and medium SMEs in Mauritius, it's about 140,000 enterprises. And out of these 144,000, you have 81% which are micro SME. A micro SME is a business which has a turnover less than 2 million rupees and staff between 5 to 1 people. And then 18% is medium enterprises with a turnover up to 10 million, and 1% is medium enterprises with a turnover up to 50 million. So the core of MSMEs in Mauritius is of these 140,000 of the borrowers, the entrepreneurs that Fundkiss service today. And our mission is to simplify their funding, to make it more accessible, to democratize the SME financing in Mauritius. And we want to be simple, to be fast, and to be transparent in everything we do.
I mean, very, very interesting. I mean, I can see with 83 small and medium, micro, small and medium enterprises funded. I see you've come a long way. Right now, if you look at a lot of the... Yeah, sorry.
Just here, if I can add something, I think you mentioned timing at the very beginning of your interview, and I think the timing is also right now. I think borrowers today, SMEs, they want to have a choice, a palette of choice, different options to finance their growth and development. They don't want to rely only on banks and leasing companies. They want to have choice. Like big groups have choice, they want as well to have choice. And we are one of the tools now available to them to finance their development and growth.
Definitely. And as you're progressing, I'm sure even the banks will look at crowdlending an opportunity through organizations like Fundkiss, and of course, you have your own processes to understand and assess an organization from a risk perspective. If you're talking about crowdlending, it is also unsecured lending. But I believe you would have your frameworks in which you assess, what is, how strong is an organization from a team perspective or financial perspective or a risk perspective. So I mean, what is a process that you follow which will give confidence to the lender or the investor, who may be a person like me, that yes, I can go ahead and I can start investing from the 84th startup that comes to Fundkiss for crowdlending.
So you've touched a very important point at the beginning, and I will answer your question afterwards, is that banks and traditional financing institutions are not our competitors. We are here to collaborate. We can do things that they cannot do, and they can do things that we cannot. So we need to have this approach, and this has been our approach, to collaborate with legacy institutions which have been here for many years and that will continue to be here. And for instance, we are collaborating with SME Equity Fund on the financing of projects. Now, with regards to the underwriting of the projects which are put online, we have put in place a very strict yet lean credit process, whereby first all the applications are privated by our sales team. Then they are sent to our partner, Strategic Insight Group, which is the local specialist in credit risk and credit management. So they prepare credit papers on every application independently. Then the credit paper is sent to our head of credit, which reviews. There you can have some back and forth discussions, additional information required. And once the head of credit is satisfied, he sends the file, the credit paper with his recommendation to our credit committee, on which you have seasoned professionals in credit, banks, entrepreneurs who sit. We have 6 members, and they have the final decision on putting online or not a project. We also, as part of our credit risk management framework, we have also put in place a portfolio management monitoring, and we also have, in case there is a default, a recovery team in place, and we are working with partners.
Excellent, excellent. So, I mean, what it seems is that you have a stringent process in place where you assess the enterprise that's coming to you on different aspects. Now, I'm sure you've already funded 83 or 84 small and medium enterprises. How many applications have you received in all that have gone through this entire process?
So since the beginning of our operations 18 months ago, we have looked at over 1,000 applications.
1,000 applications. So which means that the successful organizations are around 8.4%.
Yeah, but exactly. It's strict, but we need to be very strict at the beginning because it's a new business model in Mauritius. So we have an industry and a business model to protect first. And also, more importantly, we have investors, the lenders behind who trust Fundkiss, that we are putting good projects on the platform. And there are two main eligibility criteria for the projects put online. So first is the number of years of operations. If it is a SME, the business needs to have at least 2 years of operations. And if it is a sole trader, so an individual operating under its own BRN, we ask for 3 years of operations minimum. Below, we don't accept. Okay. And then the second criteria, which is very important, is the repayment capacity. Does the business have the repayment capacity to sustain, to support the loan and repay the lenders every month? So this is the job of strategic insight and of all the credit team to assess this repayment capacity.
I mean, interesting. Definitely, that gives a lot of confidence to the investor that there's a strong process in place. You know, if we talk about you, the entrepreneur, right? I mean, I'm sure as rosy it seems from the outside, as easy it seems from the outside. You know, it would have been extremely challenging. Every single step would have been a challenging process, which is natural for any entrepreneur, to experience. And I've seen, sometimes I've exchanged messages with you at midnight, and I'm surprised that you're still working, right? And how easy or difficult has this journey been for you as an entrepreneur?
So when I first got the idea of doing crowdlending in Mauritius, so I shared it with a friend who was working in Paris in a lending platform actually, and he told me, "I'm going to give you free advice." First, he asked me, "Are you sure you want to go into this entrepreneurial journey?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure I want to do it." And then he said, "Okay, I will give you free advice. Resilience, resilience, resilience." And I think it's all about the resilience of the entrepreneur and the team behind, because it's very difficult, it's very challenging, it's multidimensional. There are many things you need to look at the same time. But the adrenaline you get from it, it's priceless, because I think this is also the beauty of startups. You are able, as a startup, to have an impact on people's life, and a positive impact, making a change in your society, disrupting the way things used to be done traditionally, and this is what we are doing every day. And the things, even if it's very hard, the things which make it great, but I will never change anything from is that we have this positive impact on people's life. We make their life better. We give opportunity to entrepreneurs to grow their business, and this is a super feeling. And on a more personal note, me over the last 4 years, I've done everything at the same time. You know, I got married. I now have 2 sons, so 2 and 4. I took a home loan. I took a loan for my car as well. So everything arrived at the same thing. So it's very challenging at times to be able to balance between family life, personal life, entrepreneur's life. But you've got to deal with it and keep pushing, because when you know the things you are doing are right and especially good, you need to, and you have people around you who believe in you, who support you and help you to grow. Sky is the limit. And this also is very important in your entrepreneurial journey, is to surround yourself with good people, people who are better than you on their verticals, to be able to go far and faster. Yeah, because alone you cannot do anything, and it's about people who accompany you in this journey, and with who you build the company and you build the business.
Definitely. I mean, your team matters, and your team, or the people who you're interacting with, your team, your partners, your collaborators. I mean, in your case, the people who are taking the loans, they're also part of your extended ecosystem, right? So if you're creating a healthy environment and it's giving back to you, positivity, it definitely helps you to keep moving on, and it is definitely evident that you've been resilient. But have you never weighed the options that if you would have continued in a job vis-a-vis becoming an entrepreneur and taking the risk, especially when you were getting married, you were building a house, you were getting a car, building a family life, that you could have taken a job, you would have been a lot more stable, all these things would have been normal, cash flows would have been consistent, and on the other hand, you decided on taking up a journey with erratic cash flows, with lesser uncertainty comparatively. So I mean, does that never come across in your mind? I mean, maybe in the initial days or now, or I mean, this is useful for people who are thinking of entrepreneurship to take the decision whether to take up a job or be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and actually between PwC and now there has been kind of a transition. I have been a semi-entrepreneur in the way that with a partner between 2015 and 2018, we developed together a chain of beauty stores in Kenya. It was called Madora. So with him and through this venture, I got the taste of entrepreneurship and how it was to develop a new business from scratch in a foreign country, to build a team and to grow the business. So I got this first experience there. But no, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's in my nature, it's in my character to do things, to make things happen, and and try to have, and this is what is nice also with being an entrepreneur. By being an entrepreneur, you can change things, you can make an impact, a positive impact on society, on economy, on people's life. So this is what I want to do. Now, entrepreneurship again is very difficult. It's very hard, and I think the chance I had, or I have, is that my wife and my family fully support me. But at times it's very difficult, very challenging. They are always there. So this is a big advantage I have. Obviously, from a financial perspective, also the family has taken a big hit. But it's at the end of the day, it's also a family project, and my wife is here today to. Thankfully, she has a very good job, so she's able to support the family. But obviously, it will not last forever, so it's important as well that Fundkiss progress, that we have this traction, and that we have a happy ending for everyone.
No, definitely. I think the way you're progressing, it seems like you're already in the zone of a happy beginning. I won't call it ending, but yeah, a beginning that is which is on a growth curve. So the direction, I mean, it's the right direction, right? And I mean, crowdlending as a concept is new to Mauritius, right? And it'll be new for a lot of countries. It's not. I mean, it may be operational in some way or the other, where in terms of informal lending societies, but crowdlending as a structured and regulated concept is something new. Now it's easy for an SME or a micro enterprise to understand that yes, we need capital, we are getting an alternate option with probably lesser turnaround time and faster call to action. But for the investor, right, to understand what has been the journey of educating the investor, and do you think people, I mean individuals across the country, do they have the awareness of a product like Fundkiss, which is a crowdlending product, and or the market needs more education?
First, crowdlending, the concept of crowdlending is as old as the world. You have it in different societies. In Mauritius, we call it tontine, where people were put together and then they circulated. In the form we know it today, crowdlending is in an industry which has 15 years old globally. The first platform was Zopa in UK. Then you had Lending Club and On Deck in the US in 2007, and then other platforms followed in Asia, Southeast Asia, India, Europe, and now it's happening. It's coming to Mauritius since 2019. So Mauritius is very conservative from a financial perspective, very traditional. So every new product on the market, it takes a bit of time to get for people to get used to it. And we had, as a platform, we had two challenges because we needed to educate and to build awareness on the one side with the borrowers, which were working in a highly bankarized economy, and then on the other side with investors. Okay, so on the investor side, the good thing is that we had early adopters who are still with us and who are still lending on projects. We have about 500 active lenders today on our platform. 2,000 are registered, but active lenders who lend regularly on different projects, we have 500. And what we are starting to see, and this is extremely positive, is that institutional investors, sophisticated investors, are starting also to be interested around our solution and are starting to lend on our platform alongside the retail lenders. So we have a hybrid model of financing whereby individual and institutional investors lend directly to Mauritian SMEs. And we want to welcome more and more institutional investors. And I think this transition to the FSC and peer-to-peer lending rules will help to have access to more institutional investors. Because what is Fundkiss offering them? We are offering them One, a new asset class, which is SME loans. So if you are already an investor, you want to diversify your portfolio, it's interesting to have this new asset class. Then we have a return which is higher than average. We are talking here about around 10 to 11%, especially today in an environment where all the interest rate are extremely low. So it's interesting to have this asset in your portfolio. And then there is a dimension which is very important now post lockdown, which is impactful investment. We give them the opportunity to invest directly in the local economy, to invest directly in these 140,000 micro and small SMEs that contribute so much to the development and growth of Mauritius. And to the investors, we are also offering a completely new investment experience, because we are giving them the opportunity from their laptop, from their smartphones, from their desktop, from their couch, to lend directly to an SME. And it's done in a few clicks and in a couple of minutes. And 1 month after the campaign is closed, you will start receiving back your repayments in form of capital and interest. So the behavior also of investment, we are, I think, disrupting it, because normally it's something which is very passive. You give your money to your portfolio manager, account manager, and he will invest for you. What we are telling you, the investors now, the Mauritians, is that today you can lend directly from your smartphone to a Mauritian SME, and it starts as from 5,000 rupees per project.
Well, definitely, that's a way forward. I mean, realizing that in Mauritius and even in Africa, most of your investment products are like over-the-counter products, or where you have to communicate by email, call, or something or the other, and make an investment. So the good thing is, with Fundkiss, you can relax and contribute to the economy by the click of a button and diversify your investment and potential income. So which is definitely very, very interesting, Paul. And so Paul, you're launching your masterclass on edVentr, which is a 60-minute masterclass on Crowdlending, right? Which is part of the journey of educating the investors, the SMEs, and the overall ecosystem on what crowdlending is and how can the entire ecosystem benefit from it, right? And we've had this discussion, and we realize and understand how important educating the market is. So would you like to talk a bit about your 60-minute crowdlending masterclass on edVentr?
Yeah, so the masterclass will be around crowdlending, what it is, what different model we have internationally, in Africa, in Mauritius, who are the different investors that come and invest in these different platforms. We will have a discussion about the regulation aspect in Mauritius and in Africa. We will also discuss Fundkiss specifically. What do we do? What's been the journey so far? And more importantly, I look forward to receiving and answering, interacting with all the participants. I think crowdlending is it's a revolution. It's part of alternative financing solutions we are seeing emerging everywhere around the world, and this is the future of financing. This is tomorrow how you, me, SMEs will get finance. So we are at the very beginning of a journey of a financial revolution, and it's important to know what is happening, to have this awareness and watch out of what will happen next on this landscape.
Excellent, Paul. So, I personally am very much looking forward to your masterclass. And what is better to learn a subject, and that too a subject like crowdlending, from a person who is living, breathing, crowd lending, who's working with SMEs, who's created, as we started this conversation, the hottest startup of the country, is helping SMEs, is helping, helping the economy grow by assisting the small and medium enterprises. So thank you so much, Paul. This was a lovely interaction with you, and I enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, and one last thing about startup. There's an article, maybe I will share it in the masterclass, where it says, the title said, your startup is a movement. And I think this is what we want to bring with Fundkiss. I think it's a movement. It's a movement of change in simplifying the way SMEs finance themselves. And we have also this community of lenders, of early adopters who believes in the concept, who are still here with us, but we want to see things change in Mauritius and abroad, and this is also an important aspect of startups, but we can bring change and positive change to the country, to the world.
Definitely.
And looking forward to the masterclass next week.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paul.